1 year after supporters of President Donald Trump stormed the U.S. Capitol, the former president is still not permitted to use Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, the digital stages where he directly spoke to millions of followers.
It's not a fair situation, very, very bad for this country, very bad for the world. If they can do it to me, they can do it to anyone.
January 6th was certainly a moment of reckoning for the social media platforms.
Trump was accused of using the platforms to stoke the riot. His suspension is a stark reminder of the power social media companies have over political leaders who run afoul of their rules. But despite the ban, after January 6th, social media companies came under intense fire from critics who said the suspension was too late, coming years after tolerating Trump's violations of the company's rules. For their part, technology companies have said they are constantly working to make their services safer. Twitter's former CEO said at a congressional hearing that Twitter did bear some responsibility for disseminating disinformation that led to January 6th, but pointed to the larger culture.
But you also have to take into consideration a broader ecosystem. It's not just about the technology platforms we use.
There have been some changes. Twitter enacted a 5-strike policy on misinformation about COVID-19. Facebook now applies its content moderation rules to politicians, a group it had shielded in the past. But the changes strike some experts as small.
Whether or not they've actually changed how they think about their products and their algorithms and the core business models, that I think is less so. That I think is they still continue to play a bit of whack-a-mole.
Looking out to elections this year, the potential remains that social media could lead to more unrest, observers say.
We really need to start planning now for all those things. And I haven't necessarily seen what I would like to see from the companies around what they're doing.
Some critics point to the company's way of making money, advertising, and how the firms have created algorithms that highlight extreme content that is more engaging.
A lot of these platforms have made tweaks around the edges, but at the end of the day, it's about the business model. These platforms are fundamentally designed to elevate, amplify, proliferate the most problematic things on the platform, things like election lies, racial violence.
Whistleblower leaks at Facebook showed how some of these problems are familiar to company executives. In the coming year, lawmakers could try to force the companies to make bigger changes to policing controversial content and being more transparent about what they are doing. Michelle Quinn, VOA News.